Okay. So, Bree let me tell you how I met Bree, first of all. So Kim Hughes, is Kim on? I didn't know, I didn't have a chance to look and see if everyone was here. I don't think she's on
I
right
don't
now.
think so. I don't see her on here.
So Kim Hughes and Bree are a part of the same networking group. It's actually probably the biggest group in Utah. I mean, it's hard to find a group as big as the one that they're in. So that's why Bree is in that group. First of all, it's just a very successful group. But to give you a little bit of background, Bree's been doing online marketing and marketing for over 12 years. And she has worked for companies like M&M, Got Milk. I'm trying to remember all the ones you told me. McCormick, Campbell's. Anyway, big companies. She also said that it's a large animal health and wellness corporations that you've worked for as well, which I didn't know. That's new to me. So anyway, she knows her stuff. So I'm excited for us to all hear from her. Okay, so Bree, how do you want to start? Can I just let you take this and go?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we still have some people coming on, which is great. So thanks, Amber. Yeah, a little bit more about me is I went to the University of Nebraska where I studied communications. That's where I got my undergrad, and I have my graduate degree in business from William Woods University, which is in Missouri. And I'm not sure where all of you are from, maybe a little bit from all over, but my family just recently, I guess almost a year now, relocated to Utah from the Midwest. So that's actually how I met Kim. We're in BNI together, and I see Kim's on, so good morning. And I got networked in, similar to how many of you probably grow your networks. So my background is in marketing. I've worked on a lot that Amber has stated, some big groups. I also have a background in animal health and nutrition. So I worked mostly with the large animals, primarily with ruminants, so dairy and beef cattle. And that was my latest, I guess, corporate marketing life. But I've been doing my own business now for about 3 years, doing marketing consulting. And it just started out with, hey, can you help me with some social media posts? Or I don't know how to do this on Facebook, or we want to make a Facebook group page, you know how it goes. And so it just kind of grew. And now I get really excited to jump on calls like this with groups and teach you guys how to do different things on social media. So I know today Amber specifically wanted to dive into Instagram, and I know a lot of you don't have your cameras on, so that's okay. But if you are able to turn your camera on, the more interactive we can make this, the better. So I encourage you, even if you're in your pajamas, turn on your cameras and basically, good morning. See, some people turn it on. This is awesome. So basically what I want to do this morning is I'm going to share some tips and tricks, just talking through some tips and tricks through Instagram. So if you have a notepad, take some notes down. I know Amber's recording this, so for those of you I see might be in your car or unable to do that. And then this is very interactive. So if you have a question and you don't want to forget it, please feel free to ask. But we're definitely going to leave a lot of time for questions and how do I do this? Because you're probably not the only one curious as to how to do something. Amber, does that sound good?
Great, thanks.
Okay, awesome. So the first thing that I like to do with people, first of all, everyone, if you have your phone and you're not using your phone for Zoom, open up your Instagram account. If you don't have an Instagram account, I encourage you to create an Instagram account today. So that will be your first homework assignment from Bree. Now, when you open up your Instagram account, the first thing that you want to look at is your Instagram handle. So what is your name? And you really want to take a look at your name and think about, does it make sense? And when you first create your handle name, a lot of people, well, of course it makes sense. But think about it for a couple of minutes. And the reason I ask that is your business changes and you change and your goals change and maybe your target audience has changed. So you really need to think about, and Kim, I'm going to use you as an example because I think she has a great example here and she won't care. So Kim, when we did this exercise, we went through and her handle didn't really make sense. Kim, what was your handle before? I can't remember. Do you remember?
It was terrible. It was like mypawbox.com or something. I created it back when our paw boxes came out, but mypawbox.com, or I don't know, or mypawbox.co or something. It was lame. So lame.
So as we started talking through and I started asking her questions, okay, but why do you do it? And where do you live? And who do you want to work with? And she started talking about the products that you have that really made her passionate about what she likes to sell. It came to the food, right? You guys offer a lot of different products, from toys to supplements, to even like potty training pads, all of these things. But for Kim, she was really passionate about the food. And so then we started talking about, okay, well, where is her target audience? And she really wanted to focus and be a leader in Utah, which is where Kim lives. So for her, as we started brainstorming ideas, she came up with Utah Pet Foodie. Is that the exact, it's something around there.
Utah Dog Foodie.
Dog Foodie. So it kind of felt like it fit her more and it fit the business more. So it wasn't advertising necessarily for Pawtree, but it definitely connected with the brand and it connected with what she wanted to do. So that's why I say, take a look at what your name is. And if you think that it's great, ask a couple people that are close to you that you trust their opinion. So some of those people that you should ask some of your close friends that you feel are going to be honest with you. You all have those friends. You all have those friends that you can ask them the question and they're going to give you that honest answer. Ask them. Ask this group. Okay, your team members are going to be honest with you because they want to help you grow. They want to help you succeed just as much. So go, oh yeah, we have the chat open. Someone else said mine does not have to do with Pawtree. And it can absolutely have to do with Pawtree, but ask around and see if it makes sense for what you're doing and what kind of content you're posting. That's the other thing. So we get asked a lot in the industry, should I have one account for my business and one account for my family life? Because that could really impact what my name is. And that really is a personal decision. Some people try to build a brand around themselves, and Pawtree might fit into that brand, into that lifestyle. And that is definitely one way to sell. And a lot of people in industry such as Pawtree use that tactic. And some people keep it completely different because they say, hey, I want my personal life to stay personal, and I know that sometimes I'm going to have to sprinkle in some of my personal life into my professional Pawtree feed, and I'm okay with that, and I'm comfortable with that. And some people are like, look, it's way too much. I can't do 2 accounts. I'm not going to do 2 accounts. I want it all in one. And then that's okay too. So it really is a personal decision, and there's marketing strategies either way you go. It does not matter. But whichever path that you go down, you need to be consistent in that strategy. So look at the name, really make sure that it makes sense. You can change it. You just go to the edit function on, it's a lot easier to do a lot of things on Instagram on your phone than on your computer. I will tell you that. It is made really to be a mobile app. So anything that you edit, I recommend that you do on your phone. It will be a lot easier for you to do. So once you look at your name, then you need to look at your picture, your profile picture. So when people are searching for you or they're searching for what you're selling, that's the first thing that's going to pop up. They're going to see your photo. Does your photo make sense? Can they see it? Is it clear? Do you have a picture of a dog and half of the face is cut off? Is it bad lighting? Are you just pushing product? Is it too salesy? does it fit with your name? You want to make sure that all of these things connect, because that's important. Think about you as a consumer, and when you're on Instagram and you're scrolling through, if you see a little bubble and it's somebody's profile picture and it just looks like too commercially, and you personally don't know them or their product, you're probably less likely to click on it, right? But if it feels more like a conversational, more real, more connecting, then you're probably going to click on it for more information. So make sure that your picture is really connecting to your brand. The next thing, as you walk down your profile on Instagram, I just want to make sure I'm doing this, is your biography. Now, the easiest way that I tell people to write your biography is to do it in the notes section of your phone. So if you have notes or notepad, whatever you use in your phone to type out notes, do it in your phone. And I say do it in your phone versus your computer because, again, Instagram is much more friendly to the phone than to the computer. Also, on your phone, more people have cute little emojis and icons, and if you want to make bullet point lists, you can use cute little, like Amber has little dogs and cats and paw prints, and I know Kim has some too. So those are easier to do. Also, it's really hard when you're typing in just to edit in Instagram to make those hard line breaks. It doesn't like you to do that. It wants you to just keep on typing. Well, that doesn't always look the best. So doing it in your phone will allow you to lay out your biography the way that you want it. And it doesn't have to be all bullet points. Take a look at different people's biographies. Some people do it and they have just phrases, and they have dividers. They have the long lines in between to divide the sections. So theirs reads more horizontally, and then some people really are vertically. So I recommend that you take a look at all different types of profile bios and see what you like. And again, make sure that it ties into your brand. You don't want to be too wordy. This is not a sentence writing. It's really quick and to the point. What do you do? If it's all business, then say what you do, not just what you do, but why. This is the section in your biography is to where you include your why. This is where people come to read your passion. So use those big passion words that are in your why statements. And I know that you've probably all had to do that. You've all had to write out and say and record your why statements. If you have not done that, then you need to do that. But use that, and that's where you will get definitely the inspiration to write your biography. And then let it sit for a day, an hour, it doesn't matter. Come back to it, rewrite it. Again, you can send it out to those trusted, trusted people to edit again. Amber's saying, yep.
I was just saying that it was a copy and paste. It was like a formatting. So you can right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's, again, a great point, Amber. So on the phone, once you have it in your notes section, you can literally just copy from your notes section and paste it into your biography section in Instagram. So it's not hard to do at all. You don't have to retype it. It's just a highlight, copy, click over into your Instagram, hit paste, all the formatting converts. All the little emojis, all of that, it goes right over. And then you have it saved. So save that note. So then if you want to update it as your business grows or if your focus changes, keep it up to date, but then you don't have to recreate it. You just have it saved in your phone. So it's really good to have. It's a little blurb on what you do. The The other thing that I really want to point out that I get a lot of questions about that's on the profile, that's in between there, are the number of followers. So this is a big thing that I want to talk about. So I tell people this, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Now, if you're a big influencer, that might be different, but not necessarily, because even the big influencers have a lot of people that don't necessarily interact with them. It really is about finding the right target audience and connecting with them. So I'm going to give you a personal story on this. And this is just an example. So in my personal life, I drink a lot of coffee. Like I love coffee. I used to work for Starbucks in college. So I'm loyal to the Starbucks brand for the most part. And I follow them. And when I go and have Starbucks coffee, I post it. If I have a coffee date with my son and he has some cream frappuccino or cake pop or whatever, I post it. I just do. It's part of my life, right? So Starbucks doesn't take over my feed or my stories, but they follow me on Instagram. Now, Starbucks only follows about 1,500 people on Instagram, and I happen to be one of them. But I'll tell you what, guys, on my personal account, I'm looking at right now, I have 967 followers on my personal account. So it's not about the number, the high number. I don't have millions of followers, but I do have the quality. So that's just one example. I have lots of others where people reach out, they ask about business, they ask about products, they ask about services, they direct message me. So it really does work when you make those connections. So how I get people to think about this is it truly is a virtual networking tool. So it's a way for you to connect with people that you cannot connect with because you cannot be everywhere at one time. Right now, we're in a world where you cannot host parties, you cannot go to vendor events and have tables. So how are you going to reach all of these people that you know need your product and you know would benefit from your product, or their pets would benefit from their product, right? So it's making those really true connections. So what I encourage people to do is this. One, you want to make sure that you're updating who you're following and making sure that you're following the right people. So for example, Kim really wants to connect more with breeders. Okay. So I encourage her every day, or at least once a week. So start out with an obtainable goal. Okay, so an obtainable goal would be maybe follow 10 new accounts a week. Now that's not a very high number, but it's reachable. It's something that you can make time to do. And it's not going to put you in Instagram jail. So if you're following like 30 new accounts a day, you might get in Instagram jail because they're not sure if you're a human or you're a robot. They can't tell because their algorithm just says, well, this is wacky. I don't know why this person is following so many people, but we're just going to freeze their account. And you don't want that to happen. So when you follow the 10 accounts, not only do you want to follow those 10 accounts, but you want to interact with those 10 accounts. So for Kim, she's going to follow the 10 accounts, the breeder accounts that make sense for her area. So she's going to look for them to maybe live close to her so that when all of this social distancing is lifted, that maybe she could meet them face to face and have coffee, or meet their new litter of pups, or deliver some treats or whatever it may be. So what she's going to do is she's going to go through and she's going to look at their content, and she's going to find the content that she can relate to. So this could be that she relates to from a personal level, and she is going to also comment on content that she can relate to from a professional level. So, and the professional level is not salesy, guys. You don't want to feel like you're pushing product. For example, if you see puppies that are eating, you could just put, oh, great puppy food. We love great puppy nutrition. Okay, so you've just said that you back puppy nutrition, but you have not said anything about paw tree. You have not said anything about your product, but you're just saying, hey, I support puppy nutrition too. Or we love a good puppy toy, right? Or something like that. And then you can use hashtags in the comments. And people that know hashtags know that that's a good thing because it's elevating their post. So when you take the time to go through their content and go a little bit deeper, don't just go the first 2 lines, like truly take the time for the 10 accounts to dig a little deeper and comment. Like, that's okay because they're probably going to return the favor. I did this the other day as an experiment with this cake company. And personally, I just love cake decorating. I used to do it in college. And I'm like one of those people that I love watching the videos of like cake decorating. So I found this really cool Instagram account. I went on there and I just kind of got sucked into their account, probably a little too far. So there is that. Be careful about that. And I started commenting on cakes that I really liked, or I tagged people. Like my sister just had a baby and they made the most adorable unicorn cake. And I thought, oh my gosh, this would be perfect for my niece someday. And I just thought of my sister. So I tagged my sister and I thought, and it was an old cake from, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago. And I just started kind of doing that as I thought of people, or I thought of, oh my gosh, I love this color. I love rose gold. They did rose gold and navy. And I said, oh my gosh, I love these color combinations. I would have never thought to do that. And then they reached out to me and they said, so what do you do? Like, what do you do for a living? I said, oh, actually I do marketing. Like, they were curious about me because I was curious about them, right? So now we've started this conversation through direct messaging because I've taken the time to get to know them. And I've also taken the time to connect them with some people in my network that I think would like their products and services. So again, back to the point of don't look at the numbers. In fact, I would just tell you, don't even pay attention to that for a very long time. Just be consistent. If you're consistent in posting, you're consistent in following new accounts and really trying to have those conversations and engage with them, the true connections will come. And you will definitely see that in your business. So we're at about 10:25, and I know that I really wanted to give a lot of time, about half of the presentation or so, to questions and answers, because I think that's really where we can probably dive into a lot of things. So I'm actually just, Amber, if you're okay with that.
I would love that. One thing I also had in mind that was super helpful for us is your formula. You gave Kim and I, okay, do this every day. Do this first, do this second, do this third. That's so helpful, I feel like. So could you just kind of do a little rundown of that, and then we can turn it over to question and answer. And Nancy, that was sent to me privately, so post that to everybody. We already have a question coming through. So
sure. So the formula, again, I am one of those, don't bite off more than you can chew, because then it becomes overwhelming. And that's where I think a lot of people with social media start to hate it, because they take on way more than they really have time for. So the question that Amber and Kim had for me was, Bree, how much time really? And I said, okay, guys, if you really could just do, let's just start with 30 minutes a day. and 30 focused minutes on Instagram. I mean, I think you could do way more than that. Again, this is how quickly and how much you want to build, right? So think about it. If you want more, then you have to put more time into it, just like anything else. And you guys all know that. So 30 minutes, and here's what I do in the 30 minutes of really being focused, and set a timer for yourself. That's number one. So number one, schedule in the 30 minutes, just like it's an appointment. So whatever that business time looks like, if somebody canceled on you an appointment, or now that you're home and you normally had a team face-to-face meeting, take that 30 minutes, schedule it in, and set a timer on your phone, because I promise you, just like any other social media, you will go down the black rabbit hole and an hour will go by and you go, holy cow, did I do anything that I was supposed to do on the list? Probably not, because I got sucked into Instagram videos. At least that's what happens to me. So set the timer. And then what you need to do is you need to first take a look at your own account. So it doesn't have to be the same time every day. That's what somebody asked. It's completely up to you. I do it a lot of different times during the day. And I think that it's better for that, just so that you have different times of posting, if that's the only time you're going to be on Instagram. So if you're only doing 30 minutes a day, then I would change it up. So maybe like Mondays and Wednesdays, you do the mornings, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, you do middays, and Fridays and Sundays, you do, late evenings, whatever you want to do. Change it up a bit. So in that 30 minutes, you want to look at your own content. You want to look at your inbox. And for those of you that don't know where your inbox is, when you are on your home page, on the home, not on your profile page, on the home screen, which is where your main feed is and all of your friends' highlight reels, you will see an arrow, and then you'll have a little red notification bubble and the number. So those are your direct messages. You want to check in with those people first, because they're waiting for you. Those are hot leads, right? Even if they're hot leads, just look at them that way, okay? So you want to look at that first. Then you want to go through and you want to go down to the bottom. There's the home, search, plus, and then there's the heart. So go to the heart and click on it and see who's following you, who's commenting. In this one, what I do first is I go to whoever commented, and I go back and I double click so that the little heart highlights that, yes, I responded. And if it warrants a response, which a lot of times it does, even a simple thank you, or so glad you feel the same way, or whatever. You can think of anything to respond. You want to continue the conversation. If it's something that you can ask an open-ended question to, do it. If it's somebody that has seemed like it's something that you can send them a direct message to, do it. So this is where it can also give you hot leads, is in this. So you're looking at this and you're going, oh, okay, so somebody really liked that video that I posted about the dog toys. So send them a direct message and say, hey, I saw that you wrote a comment about the video I posted of the glow-in-the-dark dog bone that we have. It's like a dog stick, I think, that you guys have, that's the LED glow-in-the-dark. So you post a video on how that works and say, hey, I saw that you commented on how that works. Here's kind of how it works. What is it that you're looking for in a dog toy? Do not just sell them the dog toy. Do not post a link to how to buy the dog toy. Don't come out right out the gate with pushing a sale. Continue the conversation. What kind of dog toys are you looking for? Are you looking for something that's going to keep them busy? Are you looking for something that has sound? Are you looking for something that's a little bit more for those that like to destroy everything, like my dog Cinnamon right now, who's into tearing up everything? like kind of get to know them and their needs, right? Because then what you can do is you can tell them how you can help fulfill their needs. Because people just like you are really put off when you get a direct message. It's like, hey, saw that you liked our post today. Here's a 20% off code for my online boutique. Be sure to share it with your friends. Like, that is super annoying. At least it is to me, and I'm sure it is to all of you. And I don't click on them, right? I just don't. But if somebody reaches out to me and gets to know me and my dog and what I'm truly looking for help with, then you know what? I'm probably going to buy that glow-in-the-dark stick that I saw because it looks really cool, and I think my boys would love to have that with my dog. So that is really what you want to do. So the next thing so again, you're going to look at your direct messages, then you're going to come down to the hearts, you're going to look at who's following you, who commented, look for hot leads in there, and then go ahead and direct message those people. That's where you want to spend the most of your time. This is your conversation. This is your connecting. Then within those 30 minutes, so look at your timer, see how much you have time for, or if you can extend your time. And then that's when you want to go to the accounts that you're following. So if you need to follow a few accounts that day, go ahead and follow them. You can search by hashtags that you're following. There's a lot of ways to find new accounts to connect with. There's a lot of strategies on that, and I can help you with that. But you're going to want to connect, and you're going to want to comment on those. So maybe you're really trying to build that relationship with a breeder, and you saw on their highlight reel that they just had a new litter of puppies, and you want to congratulate them. So you're going to reshare their post, or they made a post about it, and you're going to share that in your highlight reel. Like, congrats to breeders and their new litter of golden doodles. Aren't they the cutest? Like, just doing things like that really helps. So finding that way to connect. And the last thing that you want to make sure that you do, and Amber and I talked about this, you can either do it at the very beginning or you can do it at the very end of your 30 minutes, is you want to make sure that you're doing a post. So make sure that you're posting content. And I know that sounds like a lot to do within 30 minutes. The posting the content you will get fast at it. You will get really fast at it. You will get organized. You will have ready to go photos in your phone. You will have file folders, create an album in your camera roll that's just for Instagram that you can do, like have it organized, like stock photos that are approved. If you're, sectioning out by puppies or by cats or by senior dogs, whatever it is that you're trying to show, dog toys, have those pictures organized as you come across them in your day-to-day marketing and online things. You guys are all on social media all the time. See a picture, organize it, file it away right away. So then that way, when you're doing your 30 minutes of time of Instagram, like dedicated work time, those posts will come very quickly. And then you will want to make sure that you have ready to go hashtags. So it's like a whole nother thing, Amber, that we can get into probably another time. But there is a hashtag limit, just so everyone knows. Instagram has, I think it's 30 at the moment, hashtags. It won't let you do more than 30. Like, it'll just block you. It'll give you some error message. I've tried to do it. Everyone's tried to go around it. Like, okay, what if I do it in 4 comments? Like, will you still let me do it? And they're like, nah, nope. Bree, you're still the same account and you're still trying to just squeeze in 5 more hashtags. Nope. So make sure that you're doing the hashtags. And there's a lot of ways to do hashtags, and aesthetically, there's no clear winner. I'll tell you that. So you'll see a lot of different strategies. You'll see some people that do maybe 3 or 4 right next to their content. And then they have I don't know, 5, 6 lines, and then you see a chunk of hashtags, the very, very bottom of their post. It's not right or wrong. It works. It still leads people to the post. If they're searching for that hashtag, it'll still connect it to that post. It's not right or wrong. Aesthetically, it looks fine because unless you're clicking on that post and scrolling to the very bottom, you're not seeing all those hashtags. Then there's a strategy that is kind of what I use is I do 3 or 4, maybe 5 hashtags, and then I go back and I write the rest of the hashtags in comments. And sometimes I say them. I wait until somebody else comments, and then I do another chunk of hashtags. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. What you don't want to do is you don't want to group them all together with your post. So it doesn't want to read that, oh, look at Cinnamon's loving, her new dog bed, hashtag puppy life. And then all of a sudden there's just 30 more hashtags right there, like all together. That just doesn't look good. It's overwhelming. People don't like it. I mean, think about you as a reader. What do you like to look at? What do you like to read? That's probably the same audience that you're going to engage with. Is that look and feel. So in that 30 minutes, those hashtags, again, go back to your phone and put them in the note sections. Copy and paste, copy and paste. You can change them out, but I mean, don't overthink it. It will get a lot faster the more that you do it, because you'll know where to go to find people to connect with, who to comment, how to do the quickest post. Do the stories. Stories are important because the stories are kind of like videos, and that's why YouTube is still king, because people like to watch videos. And stories, even if it's a still shot, people clicking through, it still feels like a video. It still feels like a live feed, and people like that. They feel like they're having interaction. So the more that you can add to your stories, the better. I would say even if you can't do a post once a day, do a story once a day. At least have story content once a day. That's the most important spot to put your content, is really in your stories, because that's where people are going to go first. Okay. Amber, does that sound good?
Yeah, I love that. I'd love to see what questions are out there. I did have a couple that came to mind. Is there, and just briefly, I don't want to spend too much, but what is the benefit for working Instagram at different times?
So the benefit for working Instagram at different times is different people are on there at different times of the day, and you don't know when they're going to be on there. So once you start being consistent, so I say after 1 month of consistency on Instagram, go in and look at your analytics and go on YouTube. There's a lot of great marketers that just talk about Instagram analytics. And there's a lot of great ones out there on YouTube that will tell you how to dive into that. And they will show you when your people are on there and what times of the day they're on there, just like on Facebook or anything else. So look at those analytics, but make sure, because with Instagram stories, they're only on for 24 hours. So it doesn't, if you're just doing it every morning, it's cutting off the same time every day. So this way, it's like you're constantly having content for people that might be coming on at a different time.
Okay,
does that make sense?
And then hashtags. So most of you probably are familiar with them, or more than I. But the thing that was helpful to me is, and tell me if this is right, because this is just how I understand them. You know how on Facebook you have groups, and that's like how you find who's interested in what? I feel like hashtags is like a grouping. If you're following a hashtag, these are all the people interested in this. And these are all the, is that about right? Is that kind of, and this is the content about this. Is that what how you see it, Bree?
Yeah, hashtags are just like that. So to me, I look at it as 2 ways. Hashtags serve as basically the search function. So it's my way to directly find content that I'm looking for. It's the search drive. That's how it's been created. The second thing is exactly what Amber said, where it is the communities. So for everybody that loves hiking, if you're a Utah hiking mom, that's a hashtag. I'm pretty sure it's a hashtag I follow. That's groups. Those are people that I like, right? They're going on hikes and checking out new, posting things about it, or getting groups together, posting their latest hike. So it is a community as well. They serve both. And that's why you want to pay attention to them and the numbers as well. So that's another thing about hashtags is it is good to post hashtags that have high numbers and low numbers. There's benefits to both, because even with the high numbers, you never know who could see it and could post it and could like it. And even in the low numbers, they're probably more likely to see it if they're paying attention to it. So if there's two hashtags that are really similar in what they say, like one might be singular and one might be plural. So for example, Utah hiking mom or Utah hiking moms. And if moms has slightly lower by maybe, 100,000, I might post in that one because my post is probably more likely to be seen by more people, just because there's less following that. It sounds weird, but there's less people following it, which means that they're probably seeing that more in their feed. It's a weird thing, but it's kind of how it works. So I just say do a mix, because you just never know. You never know. That's the weird thing about Instagram. You don't know which post could just go completely viral and make you famous, right? A lot of people are like that. What are some hashtags you use that catch attention? Okay, that's a great question. So here's what I like to do. One, if you're building your brand, you want to make sure that you're using a hashtag that is good for you. So for example, for my business is impacts, and I use creating impacts, and I use that hashtag creating impacts. And so I try to use that hashtag quite a bit. In my personal account, I have a few. I have one that is hashtag Bree in real life. So if I'm just throwing it all out there, it's been a hot mess day, and I'm going to be real with you right now. This is my life. Then I use that hashtag. If it's something where I've done something on my fitness journey, maybe it's a success, maybe it's a failure, whatever it is, but it ties into my fitness journey, I use my hashtag Bree Fit Journey. Because that's a hashtag that I'm building out. So I use my personal hashtags as they're appropriate. Then I also use just one that makes sense for the post. So let me pull up one that I did for, let's see. Okay, so my dog Cinnamon has, she has a Instagram account. Yes, I'm that person. So for her, I posted this picture of her laying in her bed, and there's she's shredded a toy. It's everywhere. There's stuffing everywhere. And I put another toy shredded, now time for a nap. And then I put hashtag Cinnapup, which is her hashtag that I'm building out. And then I did hashtag dog toys because that makes sense, right? And then I used a local hashtag, which was hashtag Utah dogs. So I always try in a lot of my posts And then I connected this one actually to my personal account. So I used mine, hashtag Bree in real life, because let's be honest, this is my real life, but my dog's shredding everything in my house. And then I also used one like hashtag mountain dog and then hashtag puppy nap. So those were the hashtags that I used. So they all kind of made sense. She's a mountain dog. That's just one that I kind of throw in there from time to time. She's a puppy, she's napping. But I always try to put in a local-ish one. So sometimes I live in Saratoga Springs. So sometimes if we're out and we're doing something as a family at a park, I'll do hashtag Saratoga Springs or hashtag Utah Adventures or Utah Family Life. Because people that are searching that, they can then connect with that. So you want to have those, that kind of mix of hashtags, I find, because again, you never know where your audience is going to come from and where they're finding you. How do you do stories in Instagram? Okay, so stories in Instagram come from when you're on your main feeds. Like I'm on Cinnamon's right now. It's kind of blurry, but when you're on your main feed and you see your profile picture, there's a little plus symbol right there. And when you click on that, that's where you're going to be able to create a story. And there's lots of ways to create a story. So when you do the plus sign, it's going to give you the option to just take an actual photo, to do a video, just like probably a lot of you are familiar with Facebook. In the bottom left-hand corner, there's your camera roll. So if you want to upload a photo, you can do that. And you can create stories. But let's say that, let's see what's in Cinnamon's feed.
Okay, Bree?
Yeah.
Because I don't see all that.
Say that again?
I don't see all that at the bottom of my thing. This is what I see.
What does it say?
Share on Instagram, enable access so you can start taking photos and videos.
Yes, enable access.
Camera access enabled. There's a check by it.
Okay.
And it says enable microphone access.
Yes. Yep. You want to give your phone permission to do all that.
Oh, okay. Now, how do I get back there? Sorry, you guys, I'm an Instagram dummy. Okay. Okay, now when I click on my little arrow, I click on that, but this is what I see. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yep.
Oh.
So that's great. So what it's automatically doing is it's giving you the option to take a photo. So if you don't want to take a photo, in the bottom left, you should see a little box that looks like the last picture that you took on your phone.
Okay.
If you click on that, yep. So let's say though that you didn't, let's say that you wanted to share somebody else's post. So if you're on your main news feed, so you're on the home screen, so you click on home, and then you see this you have the heart, the comment, and then the arrow. So if you click on the arrow, unless it's a private account, if private accounts don't allow for this, but if it's a public account, then you can click on add post to your story. And so what that will let you do is that will allow you to start sharing other people's content onto your story. So this is a great way to fill your stories and build your connections with other people that you're targeting. So the people that are in your sales funnel that are, I don't know, maybe in your top 20, make a list, or top 10, maybe just top 10 to get going, and then make sure that you're looking at their content. So this one's Pug Life 2020, and it's just like a really funny picture of a pug and you can't see it, but it's like a pug in a little bathrobe with a glass of wine at the laptop. Like, it's really funny. And so if I share this, it's going to alert this account that I'm sharing this in my stories, which is good, because then they're going to start seeing that I'm sharing their content, which is how Starbucks started seeing that too. So sometimes I shared Starbucks. And then what you can do is a couple things. So there's, at the top of the screen, there's an arrow pointing down, that's download, but you'll see a little sticker looking thing. It's like a smiley face. And when you click on that, there's a bunch of options here. So that's where the stay at home sticker is, location, hashtags, things like that, polls, the little quizzes. There's so many things that you can do on here. So put some of those on there. Definitely use a hashtag. So this is a great place to use your hashtag, because when you click on this hashtag, it only allows you to do one. If you want to do more hashtags than just the one, you can come up here to the alphabet where it says there's like a big A and a little a, and you just click on that. And all you have to do is start typing in hashtags. So as you start typing in like puppy, so like I started typing in puppy and a bunch of hashtags came up on the bottom. And again, so I'm just going to click on it and I can do space, and I can, again, this is how you want to make it look. I can put 2 to a line. I can make them a single stack. My personal preference when I do that is that I try to make them blend in. So I make them as small as you can. So over on the left-hand side, there's like a scroll button that does the size of your font over here. So see how my font's like getting bigger and smaller. So I make it go all the way. So that's as big as it'll go, as small as it'll go. So I make it go as small as possible when I do these extra hashtags. And then I look at the background color. This is pretty much white. So anyway, I make it blend in. So go to the color palette of the font in the background and try to make it blend in, because otherwise, to me, I think it looks too cluttered. When you click on something, you just see 5, 6, 7, 8 hashtags and then this hashtag, and it's overwhelming. So if it's small and in the corner somewhere and it blends in with the background, it doesn't look as tacky, I guess you can say. That's kind of a blunt way to say it, but it's true. It doesn't look tacky, but it's still there. So when people are searching, if they're searching for puppy life, there's a good chance that your story is going to come up. So you still want them to see your story. So you don't necessarily sometimes just want to have one hashtag, because you still want people to be seeing your content. So I think it's still important to have those hashtags in your stories, but it's kind of just a tricky way to camouflage them. So you don't have to always come up with your own content, and people in your stories, I know we have about 5 minutes left, but here's a good tip for your stories. People love to see you. So some of the best accounts that get high attraction on their stories and their accounts are people just living their life, showing their reality, showing like how their account and their business work together. So if it is, for example, Amber is doing My Secret Pet Life. She's doing this cat in my lap, cat in your lap kind of thing, and photos. And so for her stories, maybe it's a live video of, oh my gosh, look at this, you guys, my cat is at it again. Look at the lap that she just claimed, kind of thing, because people want to see that. They want to see you and know that you're a real person and that you're really there, that you're not just a robot, that you're not just, that you can be somebody that they can connect with. and you don't know how they're going to connect with you and what they're going to connect with you over. For me, they might connect with me over a sink full of messy dishes, or the fact that I've yelled at my kids 10 times today and they're now in timeout, or that I, am trying out this new recipe for dinner and I got my kids to eat asparagus for the first time. I mean, you don't know what they're going to connect with you. So the more that you can just let them in, and for your paw tree account, the more that you can let them into why you believe in it discreetly. So if it's your dog eating the food, or you putting sprinkling the seasonings over top of it, or you're getting out the dog treat and like your kids making the dog sit for the treat or shake, like, oh, my dog's learning how to shake, but you're holding the bag of paw tree dog treats. Like, that's subtle marketing. That's advertising. They're seeing the brand, they're seeing the treats. So little things like that, but they get it. They see how it is part of your life. Oh, would love to know which nutrition company you're with. Cargill, Cattle Feeders, Taylor. I work for Fibro Animal Health Company. So I definitely worked with a lot of Cargill people.
Thanks.
Wherever.
Okay, so Bree, we do have a hard stop. So
Yep.
I just want to say thank you so much. And I feel like there's so much more we can ask you and learn from you. So we might have to have you come back.
Yeah, I do have, really quick, I can put up, I do have my information. Let me just share my screen really quick.
Everyone's saying part 2, please. So we'll do that. And then the other thing too is you guys get together as a group and reach out to Bree on her own. She's very affordable. Yeah. And that's what has been nice, is she knows her stuff, but I feel like it's affordable as well. So if you feel like you need specific help, definitely reach out to her. I feel like, I do have questions in between. We've met twice now. We have another time that we need to meet. I mean, she knows her stuff, and she can get you up and running really quickly as well. So if you feel like you need that extra one-on-one time, don't, grab a few pet pros and say, hey, let's do this together, and pay her all together,
Absolutely.
I will really quick kind of say, Bree and I did 1 hour together last Wednesday, and we got a ton of stuff done. She's super affordable, super handy. I mean, I feel like even the one-on-one is just like super helpful. So
thank you, Kim. I definitely will be doing a one-on-one with you, Bree, soon. So here's the other thought. So the reason why I feel like this has been so valuable is because we are at home. We are stuck at home. We can't. So hopefully we're all feeling like, okay, now's the time. If I'm going to really start understanding and building something, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, that you're feeling kind of like me, that I'm like, well, now's the time. I have no other choice. I'm stuck at home. So that's kind of where I was going with all of this is, we might as well come out more well-rounded. And many of you already are so much farther ahead than I am with this stuff too. So good job. And hopefully this has been helpful to you as well. So Bree, thank you so much. We'll probably do a part 2 with you, and I can guarantee you'll have some people reaching out. And I would like to schedule my 1 hour with you as well, since you and Kim.
Awesome.
I'm like, well, I want 1 hour. I want an hour.
Yeah, it's fun. So yeah, don't be intimidated, one-on-one or in groups. So whatever your team prefers, but I put out my contact information, but also I'll send that slide. I'll put it in a PDF and email it to Amber, and she can send it out to the group so you guys all have it in case you didn't get it jotted down for you. But it's been fun. I hope you learned something, and follow me so I can follow all of you too. I would love to follow all of you on Instagram. So have a great week, guys.
Thanks, Bree. Bye,
Thank you, guys.